Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Pacific Tigers Baseball. I'm Dennis Ackerman, and today the Tigers looking to get back in the win column after dropping their series opener last night to South Dakota State 2-1. A pair of freshman left-handers will be on the mound for both teams. Grant Stevens making his first start of the year for Pacific. He'll be opposed by the Jackrabbits' Rick Atkins making his second start. South Dakota is coached by Rob Johnson, who's in his fourth season, and his starting lineup looks like this. Leading off is Jamie Berg, hitting second and playing shortstop, Gus Steiger. Batting third, the right fielder, Ryan McDonald. Braden Brand hits cleanup tonight. He was in the leadoff spot last night. He'll be playing left field. Drew Beasley hits fifth, playing first base. The designated hitter is Josh Falk. He'll be hitting sixth in the lineup. Batting seventh and playing second base is Luke Ira. Derek Hackman handles the catching duties. He hits eighth. And batting ninth, playing third base, is Matt Krambeck. On the mound this afternoon for Pacific is Grant Stevens. A left-hander is making his second appearance, his first start of the year. Went 4 innings in his only appearance, allowed 4 hits, 1 run. It wasn't earned. Walked 1, didn't strike anybody out. Elijah Birdsong was the original starter today. They're going to skip him in the rotation. So top of the order, South Dakota State. Jeremy Berg, the left-hander, steps in. Did not play last night. First pitch in there for a called strike. And the first pitch is at 12:58, 72 degrees here today in Stockton. Chamber of Commerce type day. The 0-1. That just missed. Stevens features 4 pitches, a fastball, changeup, curve, and slider. The field is bathing in sunshine. Slight breeze out to left field, about 10 miles an hour. That one fouled back off. Count now 1-2 on the Jackrabbits' leadoff hitter. Officially, he's 0 for 1 this season, appearing in his third game. South Dakota State picked up their first win of the year last night. They're now 1-3. Here's a slow roller down to second, and it's going to get under the glove of second baseman James Arakawa into short right. So Berg is aboard to begin the game. That's going to be ruled an error on Arakawa. That's now the 8th error of the season for Pacific. Had one last night as well.
Number 3, Gus Steiger.
So Gus Steiger will step in now. Shortstop, 0 for 3 last night. Did have an RBI and a walk. Pitches upstairs to him, 1-0. Steiger comes in hitting .250. 4 for 16 on the season. No home runs. 1 run batted in. So many of these averages can rise quickly or fall dramatically early on in the season when you're not getting a lot of at-bats. You can either get off to a really hot start or a really slow start. Count now even up at 1-1 on the junior. Forestier in at the bag at third base. Will set the defense momentarily after this pitch. Swing and a miss. It went all the way to the backstop. Comes back to Jeremy Lee. Berg takes second. Should be a pass ball. Don't know if Lee and Stevens got crossed up on their signals. Defensively this afternoon for Pacific. Outfield left to right is Middleton, McClanahan, and Price. Very strong defensively. Forestier at third. Wyatt Hoffman gets the start at shortstop today. 1-2 upstairs, now 2-2. Arakawa, who was charged with the error moments ago, gets the start at second. Carter Hayes, the senior, at first base. And Jeremy Lee getting the start at catcher. He was a defensive replacement late in last night's game. The 2-2. That hit him. So the Jackrabbits, a couple runners aboard, nobody out here in the top of the first, already threatening, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Ryan McDonald. Sophomore last night, 1 for 3. He had a big RBI double that gave the Jackrabbits the lead. Also walked in that one. He steps in with runners on first and second, takes the first pitch for a strike, and it's 0-1. McDonald 3 for 11, 273 average. No home runs, leads the team with 3 runs batted in. RBI opportunity right here for him in the top of the first. Mitch is high and away. Count evened up now at 1-1. Berg, the runner at second, reached on the air. Steiger, the runner at first, hit by a pitch. 317 down the left field line, 325 down the right field line. Chop foul at home plate, 1-2. Then in left center, it jets out to 405. That's Triples Alley. Anything hit out there is going to roll for a while. Right center, 365. The fence from left field line to left center is 18 feet tall. Then it dips down to 8 feet from left center to the right field pole. Evened up now at 2-2. Unlike last night, the ball will carry much better here during the day, especially with the breeze blowing out to left field. The 2-2, swing and a miss. That's a big strikeout right there for the freshman. McDonald down on strikes, and that'll bring up the senior, the left fielder, Braden Brown. Brown hit leadoff last night and was 1 for 4. Scored a run. Now he steps in with Berg on second, Steiger at first. First pitch misses for a ball. It's 1-0. Glad you could spend your Saturday afternoon with us here at Klein Family Field. The 1-0. Hit down to right field. Price giving chase, and he got it right in front of the warning track. Quickly fires it back in. So 2 gone now. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Drew Beasley. Talking to interim head coach Chris Rodriguez for Pacific. We were discussing Luke Price, and he said he is an outstanding right fielder. He said he's really a center fielder. He said, in fact, all 3 of my outfielders are true center fielders. Price can cover a lot of ground out there in right field, and did right there. First pitch to Beasley's in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Beasley 0 for 4 last night, struck out a couple of times. 2 for 17 on the season. Bluff throw to second. Berg just a couple steps from the bag. Beasley does have a home run on this season, 1 of 2 for the Jackrabbits, hitting just 171 through the first 4 games this season. Upstairs, 1-1. Josh Falk, the designated hitter, waits on deck if Beasley can keep the inning alive. The 1-1 from the freshman. Hit into left center. McClanahan, he's got it. So Stevens allows the first 2 runners to reach, then he shuts the door on the rest of the lineup. No runs. There were no hits. There was 1 error, a couple of runners left aboard. Head to the bottom of the first, no score.
Designate a sober driver. Starting battery for the Jackrabbits. Behind the plate, number 9, Derek Hackman. And on the mound, number 4, Rick Atkins.
And interim head coach Chris Rodriguez, his Pacific starting lineup looks like this. James Arakawa leading it off, playing second base. Center fielder James McClanahan hits second. Charles Middleton, who's been off to a fantastic start, playing left field, hitting third. Alex Laforestier hits cleanup, playing third base. Carter Hayes will be the first baseman, hitting fifth. Hunter Skill Perut is a designated hitter here this afternoon, hitting sixth. Luke Price hits seventh, and right, Jeremy Lee, the catcher, hitting eighth. And batting ninth, playing shortstop, Wyatt Hoffman. Rick Atkins on the mound for South Dakota State. Freshman, 6'1". Was a fastball in there for a strike. He was roughed up in his first start. Went just 3 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned, walked 2, struck out 2. Hails from Marion, Iowa. And he's quickly ahead in the count on Arakawa, 0-2. See if he goes right after him here. Makes him chase one out of the strike zone. The 0-2. Hit off the end of the bat. And a nice play by the second baseman, Luke Ira. Ranging far to his left. Was able to snag it, spun, and threw out Arakawa for the first out here in the bottom of the first. Fine looking play by the sophomore second baseman. That'll bring up James McClanahan. Center fielder hitting .381, 8 for his first 21. No home runs, 3 runs batted in. Last night he was 1 for 5 with a single. Takes a ball high upstairs. And it's 1-0. Atkins at 12.27 ERA coming into today. That is just one start. Backs off the rubber. The 1-0 from the lefty. Take it for a strike, and it's now 0-2. Beg your pardon, 1-1. Got ahead of myself. They'll peel down to first. No swing, 2-1. Jackrabbits pitching staff last night did a wonderful job holding Pacific to just 4 hits, 1 run. 3-1 on the junior starting center fielder, James McClanahan. The 3-1. Full count. Brett Mogan was particularly impressive coming out of the bullpen. Went 3 innings. Gave up 2 hits. Didn't allow a run. Hit into right center. McDonald on the run has it for out number 2. First 2 batters retired here in the bottom of the first, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Charles Middleton. Middleton had 2 of the 4 hits last night for the Tigers, and he continues his torrid start. He's 8 for his first 20. 8 hits are tied for the team lead with James McClanahan. He has 6 runs batted in to lead the club. Takes ball 1 upstairs, 1-0. Second game of a 3-game set. 1-1 now in the number 3 hitter. Swing and a miss. Middleton now down in the count, 1-2. Freshman into the wind is 1-2. Hit by a diving Matt Crambeck into left field for a base hit. So Middleton continues his hot start. A 2-out base hit to left. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Alex Laforestier. Laforestier off to a good start himself. 7 for his first 19, 368 average. 5 runs batted in. Leans away from the first pitch inside for a ball, 1-0. Carter Hayes on deck if Laforestier can continue the inning. Diving back in safely. Bottom of the first, no score from Klein Family Field. Here's the 1-0. That's in there for a strike. Count now evened up at 1-1. Matt Krambeck is at third base. Gus Steiger is the starting shortstop. Luke Ira's at second. Drew Beasley at first. The outfield, Braden Brown, Landon Badger, and Ryan McDonald round out the outfield. And Derek Hackman, 3-year starter behind the plate defensively for South Dakota State University. Fouled straight back. Remains 1-2. Jackrabbits out of the Summit League. Last year they were 19-10 in league play, finished second. Swept in their opening series by Dallas Baptist, but last night picked up their first win of the year. Atkins, 1-2, misses. Quick throw down to first, but Middleton alertly dives back in safely. Deuce is now wild on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Laforestier adjusts his batting glove, now steps back in. Big hole in that right side with Middleton being held on at first. Reaches for that one, fouls it back out at play to keep the at-bat alive. We'll be right back with you here tomorrow, a noon Pacific start. The 2-2, a throw over to first. Middleton heading down to second is throwing out, so they pick him off. 1-3-6 goes the putout, and that will end it for Pacific. No runs. They do have managed a hit. No errors. Nobody left aboard. We've played 1. No score.
Lincoln Center is Stockton's premier shopping and dining destination. Enjoy boutique shopping. Our award-winning restaurants and family-friendly atmosphere is conveniently located at Pacific Avenue and Benjamin Hope, less than 3 miles from the University of Pacific. Visit LincolnCenterShops.com for a list of stores that offer a discount to all UOP students. Lincoln Center, always in style.
Top of the second, it'll be 6, 7, and 8 in the lineup for the Jackrabbits. Josh Falk, the designated hitter. Luke Ira, the number 7 hitter, playing second. And Derek Hackman, the catcher. Facing left-hander Grant Stevens. Freshman wheels and deals. Breaking ball in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Falk just 1 for 14 to begin this 2020 season. Sloan hits a single. Struck out 8 of his 14 at-bats. Fastball missed high, 1-1. Last night he was in the cleanup spot. He was 0 for 3 with the walk. Today he's dropped to 6th in the lineup. Foul tipped. Stevens ahead in the count now, 1-2. Grant Stevens from Elk Grove, California. Went to Franklin High School. The 1-2. This is low and away count now, even up at 2-2. The 2-2. And he's run the count full. The payoff pitch. Pop straight back. That's going to be foul out of play. So we'll do it all over again. Foul tipped into the glove, struck him out. First out here in the bottom of the second strikeout of the game for Grant Stevens.
Second baseman, number 22, Luke Ira.
And this will bring up the sophomore second baseman, Luke Ira. He steps in, hitting .286, 4 for his first 14. Couple of runs batted in. One of the few Jackrabbits who have gotten off to a good start. LaForestier at third. Nearly in on the grass. Looking for the bunt. And the count now even up at 1-1. I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, 72 degrees today. Back in Brookings, South Dakota, home of the Jackrabbits, 34 degrees there. And the reason why I bring it up is not to taunt you about how beautiful the weather is, but South Dakota State, their first 22 games this year are on the road. And they do that because of the weather. They don't play their first home game till March 27th. And this is something that they have to deal with every season. Took something off it, and the count now even up at 2-2 on the starting second baseman. Talking to head coach Rob Bishop, he says last year we took a tour through the Gulf Coast states. Hit well into left field, and Middleton can't track it down. That one's going to bounce up off the wall. Ira's going to head on into second base with a one-out double. Well, Middleton didn't miss it by much out there and left, just beyond his reach. First hit of the game for the Jackrabbits, third base runner they've had.
Batting center fielder, number 9, Derek Hackman.
And that'll bring up the catcher, Derek Hackman. Hackman just 1 for his first 11. 091, does not have a run batted in, but an opportunity right here. Lanes away from the first pitch, takes it inside for a ball. Mentioned earlier, South Dakota State, they were swept by Dallas Baptist, and they made the trip out here to California. They'll head back to Texas, take on Texas Rio Grande Valley. Fouled away, had a good cut at it. Count now even up at 1-1. Ira down at second base. The 1-1 from Stevens. Hit off the end of the bat, and that one's going to get back out of play. It's now 1-2 on the junior catcher. Jackrabbit schedule also takes them to Air Force, Kansas State, Oral Roberts, Western Illinois, and then finally home March the 27th, a 3-game homestand against Omaha. The 1-2, high and away. Count now evened up at 2-2. Well, that is difficult, though. Your first 22 on the road. Sure, they're enjoying the California sunshine. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runner at second. Hackman awaits the 2-2. Hit in the left center. Middleton going back, still going back. That ball's carrying well, and it is gone. A 2-run homer for Derek Hackman. Boy, when it left the bat, it didn't look like it had enough to get out, but it just kept carrying and carrying. And as I mentioned, there's about a 10-mile-an-hour breeze blowing out to left field, and it got caught up in the wind, and it just took it out. So South Dakota State takes an early 2-0 lead here in the top of the second. Hackman's first home run and his first RBIs of the season. Third home run for the Jackrabbits this year. Swing and a miss to the number 9 hitter, Matt Krambeck, the starting third baseman. He hit 8th last night. He was 0 for 4. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Landon Badger will pinch hit for Jamie Burke. Moves on deck. 1-2 on the number 9 hitter in the lineup. Swing and a miss. Pitch in the dirt. Throw down to first in time. Strikeout, put out goes 1-3. 2 gone now here in the top of the second. Tigers trail it 2-0. Courtesy of the Derek Hackman 2-run homer, an opposite field job. It's the 4th home run given up by Tigers pitching. Starts Badger out with a strike, 0-1. Fouls it away quickly down in the count, 0-2. Once again, if you're just joining us, Elijah Birdsong was the scheduled starter today for the Tigers, but sophomore is being skipped. Grant Stevens making his first start of the year. Second appearance overall. That went in the dirt. Trying to get Badger to chase one out of the zone. Wouldn't do it. 1-2 on the center fielder. The 1-2. It missed somewhere. Now count even up at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Visitors lead at 2-0. And off the end of the bat, a little number is going to get foul. Back out of play. Badger hit 9th in the order last night. He was 0 for 1, a couple of walks, scored a run. His first at bat. And he's run the count full now. Payoff pitch. Fouled out of play. And that's going to get out to center field. A base hit for Landon Badger. Just out of the reach and a hustling all the way takes second base. So it's just out of the reach of Wyatt Hoffman. Looked like it was going to be a single, but Badger, hustling all the way out of the box, turns it into a double. Third hit of the game for the Jackrabbits. That's going to bring Joey Santani, the pitching coach, out for the Tigers. Coaching at third base this afternoon for South Dakota State is Brian Grant. Meeting adjourned. Two runs already in here in the top of the second for South Dakota State, threatening to add more. Badger, the runner, at second, two gone. Steiger, the shortstop, steps in, hit by a pitch, first time up. That one misses for a ball. Last year, Steiger had a wonderful season. Led the team in average, hits, runs scored, RBIs, doubles, stolen bases. Ranks second with 5 home runs. He's a native of Minnetonka, Minnesota, and a first-team All-Summit League selection. 1-1 on the junior. Stevens into the blind. 2-1. Takes a look back at the runner at second. 2-1. Tried to check his swing, couldn't do it. Count now even up at 2-2 on the starting shortstop. Hit down to third. LaForestier ranges wide to his left. Fields throws and gets the runner to end the inning. Jackrabbits put up a couple of runs. They do it on 3 hits. There was no errors. 1 runner left aboard. We played an inning and a half, 2-0.
Hey fans, if you want a free t-shirt, get on your feet and make some noise. Free t-shirts courtesy of 209 Furniture. Defensive changes for the Jackrabbits. Playing center field, number 11, Landon Badger.
Well, Rick Atkins has been staked to a 2-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the second. Alex LaForestier will lead things off. He was at bat when Charles Middleton got picked off first base. He'll be followed by Carter Hayes and Hunter Skilperud. 4, 5, and 6 in the Tiger lineup. Krambeck in on the grass at third. First pitch in there for a strike, 0-1. LaForestier off to a very good start. 7 for his first 19, 368 average. 5 runs batted in. That one bounces up there. 2-1 on the Pacific cleanup hitter. Forestier hails from Sacramento, just up the road. Leans away from that pitch inside. It's now 2-1. Freshman's 2-1 over the head of Forestier. He's now in the driver's seat at 3-1. Forestier 0 for 3 last night in the series opener. Did have a walk. And he draws a leadoff walk here to begin the bottom of the second. First base runner of the game for the Tigers, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Carter Hayes. Hayes 4 for 15, 267 average. 2 runs batted in on the season. Forestier, pretty good sized lead over there at first. Pitch home. Inside for a ball. Forestier has 2 of the 3 stolen bases on the season for Pacific. He's 2 for 3 in that category. Atkins gave him a quick look. Comes home. Fastball missed high. 2-0. Head coach Rob Bishop is going to make a trip to the mound. He's in his 4th season with the Jackrabbits. Record of 73-81. He's also coach at the junior college level, Division II. Just joining us, Jackrabbits jumped out to a 2-0 lead, top of the second on a 2-run homer. Derek Hackman, his first of the season, he went opposite field. And those are the only runs so far here as we play in the bottom of the second. Meeting is over. Hayes will step back in with a 2-0 count. The 2-0. That's in there for a strike. Now 2-1. Last night, Pacific stranded 10 runners. They had several opportunities, just couldn't get the big hit. The 2-1. Low and inside, now 3-1. In their 3 wins, Pacific has scored 36 runs. In their 2 losses, they have 2 runs combined. 3-1 on the number 5 hitter in the lineup. Checks his swing, ball 4. So back-to-back walks to begin the bottom of the second. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Hunter Skilperut. Did not play last night. Oh for 3 on the season. Steps in with a couple of runners aboard. Middleton at second. Hayes at first. Both reached via walk. Right now the plate's dancing around on the freshman Rick Atkins. Hunter's from Bay Area, Gilroy. That's the South Bay. The 1-0 to him. In there for a strike. Even up now at 1-1. Luke Price waits on deck. They're in at the corner, still expecting a bunt. There's been no signs of it so far. The 1-1. That ball's hit well to left field. Looking up, and it is gone. A 3-run shot. Hunter Skilperud. Boy, there was no doubt about that one when it's left his bat. His first home run of the season and his first RBIs of the year as well. And with one swing of the bat, the Tigers back on top 3-2. Still nobody out. That'll bring up the right fielder, Luke Price. Second home run of the season given up by Atkins. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike. 1-1. And now down to the count 1-2. Lanes away from it, inside. Count now even up at 2-2. Price 4 out of his first 18, 222 average. Just have 3 runs batted in. Throw down to first, and he's retired for the first out here in the bottom of the second. First strikeout for Atkins, and that'll bring up the catcher, Jeremy Lee. Lee came on last night late in the ball game and replaced Bryce Kirk, who was a little bit banged up. So a day game following a night game. Kirk gets the day off. Lee gets to start. Looks at the first pitch for a ball. It's 1-0. Popped up. Foul territory. Krambeck giving chase, as is the shortstop Steiger, but that one's going to get back out of play. Both teams playing long ball here in the second inning. Derek Hackman went deep for South Dakota State, 2-run homer. But then Hunter Skilperud answered with a 3-run shot for the Tigers, and they lead at 3-2. Both home runs out to left field. That is where the wind's blowing, about 10 miles an hour. Bounces up there. Now 2-1 on the starting catcher. And the 2-1. Way outside, 3-1. On his first start, Atkins did not make it out of the 4th inning. Popped up behind home plate. That will not be playable for Hackman. Full count on the number 8 hitter in the lineup. Left-hander wheels and deals. And the payoff pitch misses inside for ball 4. Third walk of the inning issued by Atkins. And there is activity now in that Jackrabbit bullpen. Cannot see who it is from our vantage point. So now Lee, the runner at first. Wyatt Hoffman steps in. Shortstop hitting ninth. Possible sacrifice situation. Doesn't show bunt. Watches the first pitch in the dirt for a ball, 1-0. Hoffman making his third start of the season, just 1 for 8. $1.25. And the 1-0 to the number 9 hitter with the runner going, popped up. So trying to play a hit and run. Lee had a very good jump over at first base. The 1-1. Now it's 2-1. A very deliberate pace to this one so far. And the 2-1. Upstairs, fastball, 3-1. Popped up on the infield. Foul territory. Hackman with his mask off. Now he's waved off at the last moment by the first baseman, Drew Beasley, who has it for the second out. Second out of the inning, and now top of the order, James Arkawa will step in. He's 0 for 1. Throw to first, diving back in safely is Lee. Arkawa handles the bat pretty well. Let's see if interim head coach Chris Rodriguez might put another hit and run on here. Well, he wasn't sure which way he was leaning that time as he was diving back. Inside to the leadoff man, 1-0. Arakawa waits the 1-0 instead of throw back over to first. Hunter Skillport's 3-run homer here in the bottom of the second has given the Tigers the lead. 1-0. Hit off the end of the bat, a little squibber, just off the glove of the first baseman, Drew Beasley. Like it had a weird top spin. And Beasley couldn't corral it. The 1-1. Runner goes. Throw down to second is not in time. It's a stolen base for Jeremy Lee. So a 2 out. The Tigers have a runner now in scoring position. First stolen base of the season for Lee. And 2-1 now in Arakawa. That one's in the dirt. Hackman does a nice job of blocking it. Now he's going to go out and have a word with his pitcher. Been a struggle so far for the freshman Atkins here in the second inning. He's walked 3, allowed a 3-run homer. And there's a runner in scoring position with 2 gone. He's down in the count 3-1 to the leadoff hitter, James Arakawa. McClanahan waits on deck. The 3-1 from Atkins. That misses, ball 4. So the 4th walk of the inning issued by Atkins. And that looks like that's going to be the end of the afternoon for the freshman, who was not going to make it out of the second inning. He goes an inning and 2/3. He's still responsible for the runners on at first and second. And we've got a pitching change here. Just to recap the inning for you, Forestier led off with a walk, then Carter Hayes followed with 1 as well, and then Skilper delivered a 3-run bomb to left field. That made it 3-2. Price struck out. Lee walked. Stole second. Hoffman popped out. And then Arakawa just walked. Four walks in the inning. The new pitcher for the Jackrabbits is Riley McSherry, a sophomore out of Rapid City, South Dakota. Making his 3rd appearance of the season already. He's pitched 4 innings, given up 2 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He's walked 4, struck out 5. He's got an ERA of 9. Hitters just a 154 average against him. 5'10", $160.
Now pitching for the Jackrabbits, number 5, Riley McSherry.
So McSherry on in relief of Atkins. Tosses are complete, so as we get set to resume live action, Lee the runner at second, and Arakawa on at first. McClanahan steps in. 2 gone. Runners at first and second. 3 runs already in. Pacific trying to add to their lead. Sherry's first pitch out of the bullpen's in there for a called strike. The 0-1. This is way outside now. Count evened up at 1-1. Righty comes set. That ball's hit well into right center. Anybody going to get there? A diving attempt. And Badger comes up with a spectacular grab for the Jackrabbits. Boy, that is just a defensive gem to end the bottom of the second. However, Pacific picks up 3 runs. They do it on 1 hit. There were no errors. And 2 runners left aboard. Ahead at the top of the 3rd, 3-2 Tigers.
Tigers fans, if the Tigers pitchers report a strikeout this inning, one lucky section will receive nothing but bun cakes, coupons. The lucky section is Section 100. Good luck.
You know you make me wanna shout.
Top of the third. Grant Stevens now been granted a 3-2 lead. Beg your pardon, now we're going to go to the bullpen, are the Tigers. That's Dylan Potgeiser. He's the long relief man for the Tigers. So Grant Stevens' day is done. He went 2 innings, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned, struck out 3, did not walk a batter, and he hit 1 batter. Potgeiser will face McDonald, Brown, and Beasley. 3, 4, 5 in the South Dakota State lineup. And quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. Potgeiser making his second appearance. 1-0 record. Pitch 1 2/3. Fastball missed outside. He's not given up a hit or a run. He struck out 2, hasn't walked anybody. Hit down to short. Big hop for Hoffman. Low throw and a nice stretch by Carter Hayes. 1 gone here in the top of the third. Braden Brown now steps in. He flied to right his first time up. Top of the third, both starting pitchers already gone. Potgeiser wheels and deals, misses outside, 1-0. Line back up the middle into center field for a base hit. 4th hit of the game for the Jackrabbits, first for Brown. 1 out base hit for the left fielder.
That is first baseman number 14, Drew Beasley.
Beasley steps in now. The first baseman's 0 for 1. Fly to center back in the first. Looks at the first pitch for a ball outside, 1-0. South Dakota State, they're out of the Summit League. Schools include Purdue, Fort Wayne, Omaha, Oral Roberts, North Dakota State, and Western Illinois. Hit down to third. That could be two. Over to second for one. On to first, and they turn the double play beautifully. LaForestier, Arakawa to Hayes. 5-4-3 to end the inning. Head to the bottom of the third. Tigers still lead it by a run.
The three for the Jackrabbits. No runs, one hit, one left on base. Fans, if the Tigers score a run this inning, one lucky sections will win coupon for Rita's Italian Ice. That section is section 110.
Head to the bottom of the third for Pacific. It'll be 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup. Middleton, LaForestier, and Hayes. They'll be facing Ryan McSherry. You can close the book on starter Rick Atkins. The freshman went 1 2/3. Gave up 2 hits, 3 runs, all earned. Walked 4, struck out 1. Middleton takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Singled in his first time up. Fouls that one off, and now down in the count quickly, 0-2. Essentially picked off at first. Off to a hot start. 9 for his first 21, a 4.29 average. Missed outside. 1-2 on the junior. Sherry into the wind, delivers. And that one is going to get through to left field. Middleton now 2 for 2, a couple of singles. And a good start to the Tigers, bottom of the third.
All right. Third baseman, number 2, Alex LaForestier.
Middleton now is 4 for 6 in these first 2 games. Forestier steps in, walked and scored a run. Fastball missed away, 1-0. It's only the second all-time meeting between these two schools. First met back in 2016. Pacific won the only game of that series. And then last night, South Dakota State winning 2-1 right here. That one was a pitcher's duel. The overall series now evened up at 1. This is a 3-game set. Tomorrow is a noon start. Inside for a ball. Now 3-0 on the cleanup hitter. See if interim head coach Chris Rodriguez gives him the green light. Rodriguez was named interim head coach on January 13th after Ryan Garko resigned to take a job with the Los Angeles Angels. And a 4-pitch walk to LaForestier. 5th walk issued by Jackrabbit pitching. And the first 2 runners aboard for the Tigers here in the third. Hayes also walked and scored back in the second. He steps in with runners at first and second, nobody out. Pacific leads it by 1, looking to add to that lead. They're in at the corners. halfway up the middle. First pitch from McSherry, showing bunt, gets it down. It's going to roll foul. Rodriguez does have plenty of head coaching experience. He was the head coach at Modesto Junior College from 2009 to 2012. He's a native of West Covina. He was drafted by the Colorado Rockies in 1995 in the 52nd round. That is a lot of rounds, ladies and gentlemen. 0-1 on Hayes. Let's see if he's bunting again. Once again, in at the corner. Shows bunt. Pulls it back. Takes it for a ball count. Now even up at 1-1. Beasley was charging from first. Crambeck from third. Middleton is the runner at second. LaForestier at first. McSherry comes set. That's bunted right back to him. McSherry took his eye off it. Now Fields throws, and it's not going to be in time. So everybody's safe, and now the bases are loaded with no outs. I think McSherry started to pick it up, and as he was doing that, I think he wanted to possibly go to third base, but he looked up too soon, and by the time he gathered himself, made the throw, Hayes hustling all the way out of the box. Beat the throw. It's an error on the pitcher, McSherry. First error of the game for South Dakota State. And now Skill Perut, the designated hitter, steps in. And the first time up, he launched a 3-run homer. Now he steps in with the bases loaded. Hacks away at the first pitch, fouls it off right side, 0-1. Middleton is the runner at third. LaForestier at second. Hayes out at first. Beasley, the first baseman, in on the grass. That's hit to short. They're going to take the two and give up the run if they can turn it. They cannot. So Middleton comes home to score. That makes it 4-2. Hayes is forced at second base. Skill Perut hustling down the line, gets the RBI fielder's choice. He now has 4 runs batted in, all 4, in fact, for Pacific. He's now the runner on at first. LaForestier at third. 1 gone. Luke Price steps in. Strikeout victim his first time. So less than 2 outs. Can he get that runner home from third? Fastball in there for a strike, 0-1. South Dakota State, 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error. For Pacific, 4 runs on just 3 hits, and they've committed a pair of errors. The 0-1 to Price. Hit into left field, right at Brown. Tagging up is LaForestier. Here's the throw. It's not going to be in time. It was cut off. A sacrifice fly for Luke Price. And it is now 5-2 Tigers. So Luke Price does the job. He drives home the runner from third with less than 2 outs. Skill Perut still on over at first. Now they're going to say perhaps the runner left early from third. That's the safe sign given by the home plate umpire. And for Price, that's his 4th run batted into the season. Throw over to first, not in time. Lee does not have an official at bat. Walked his first time up. And he takes that one for a strike. It's 0-1. 6th hitter of the inning. Pacific got 3 in the second. They've tacked on 2 more here in the bottom of the third. A 1, half-hearted swing. Say he went around, throw down to second is not in time. The throw goes into center field. And Hunter Perut comes up hobbling. I don't know if he might have slid late and hurt his knee or his ankle. But he is quickly coming towards the Pacific dugout. Now he stops about halfway in between first and second. Looked like he was grabbing at his right ankle. So they will tend to him. He was safe on the throw down. We'll see if he stays in or lifted for a pinch runner. Either way, it'll be a runner at second base for the Tigers. It's 0-2 on the catcher, Jeremy Lee. 2 gone here in the bottom of the third. Pacific has scored 2 more runs to lead at 5-2. And it looks like we are going to have a pinch runner. Ben Nemavant, who was the designated hitter last night, the sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona, will take over at second. And Skill Perut is being helped off the field and not putting much weight on that right ankle. So Nemavant, the runner, now at second. And the 0-2 to Lee. Stayed upstairs, 1-2. Hoffman, the number 9 hitter on deck. 6th hitter of the inning. This one a far cry from last night's pitcher's duel. Combined for just 3 runs last night. We already have 7 as we play in the bottom of the third. 1-2. Foul back out of play down the right field line. Nemavant, pretty good size lead down there at second. Sophomores 1-2. Lee did a nice job laying off. Deuces Wild on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pacific leads at 5-2. Had a notion laid off. Now it's a full count. McSherry comes set, takes a look at the runner. Payoff pitch, hit into right field. McDonald coming in for it, heading towards the line. It dives, he does not get there. Nemavant comes around to score from second, and it's a 2-out RBI double for Jeremy Lee. That ball just kept slicing away from the right fielder McDonald, and it was just out of his reach on the diving attempt. 2-out RBI double for Jeremy Lee, and the Tigers now lead at 6-2. So Wyatt Hoffman steps in, 0 for 1. Plays off, 1-0. Chops that one foul. Talking to interim head coach Chris Rodriguez before the game, I said your offense is kind of feast and famine. In the 3 wins, 36 runs, and the 2 losses, a combined 2 runs. He said, that's baseball. The hardest thing to do in sports is to hit a baseball. But today the Tigers are pounding it. 6 runs, 4 hits. Ducking out of the way of that one. And the count now 2-1 on the number 9 hitter, Arakawa. The leadoff man waits on deck. The 2-1 to Hoffman. That's on the corner for a strike. Even up at 2-2. Hoffman's from Del Mar, California. Went to Cathedral Catholic High School. Trying to pick up Jeremy Lee down at second base. Good eye as he takes ball 3 outside. Now full count. Pacific scored 3 in the second, 3 more here in the third. Still threatening. That's hit into left center, and that one's going to get down for a base hit. They're going to send Lee. Here comes the throw. It is cut off, not in time, and Wyatt Hoffman delivers a 2-out RBI single, and it is now 7-2. First RBI of the season for Hoffman. Third hit of the inning. So they've scored 4 runs on just 3 hits. Top of the order now, Arakawa officially 0 for 1. He's grounded out and walked. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Well, the Tigers with a couple of key 2-out hits from the bottom of the order. Jeremy Lee, a RBI double, and now Wyatt Hoffman delivers an RBI single. Count now evened up at 1-1. Sherry's 1-1, fouled straight back, coming at us. And a leadoff man in the order now down 1-2. Two and two. Brian McSherry, the sophomore, on in relief of the freshman Rick Adkins. They've been knocked around through the first 2 2/3 innings. Pitch misses away, a runner goes, throw down is high and not in time. Wyatt Hoffman has his first stolen base of the season. Second stolen base of the game for Pacific, and now with 2 outs, they've got another man in scoring position. Now full count on Arakawa. And McSherry's payoff pitch. Lunge for, hit into center. Coming on is Badger. It's not going to get there. It bounces in front of him. Here's his throw home. It's not in time. It's now 8-2. Third straight 2-out RBI hit delivered by the Tigers. This one an RBI single. Now scored 5 runs here in the bottom of the third to break this one open. They lead at 8-2. For Arakawa, his second run batted into the season. And now McClanahan, the 9th hitter of the inning. He takes the first pitch for a strike. It's 0-1. McClanahan fouls that one back out of play. He's 0 for 2. He's flied to right. He's also flied to center. If you're curious to the season high in runs for Pacific this year, they scored 14 in the last game of the series against Cal Baptist. They won that one 14-12. And the day before, they put up 13 against them. Now 1-2 on the junior center fielder, James McClanahan. Swing and a miss. He struck him out to end the inning. But not before Pacific picks up 5 runs. They do it on 5 hits. There was 1 error, 1 runner left aboard. We've played 3. And it's all Tigers. They lead at 8-2.
Bottom 3, there's 4 runs on 3 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. The Pacific Athletic Department would like to recognize the following sponsors for their support of Tigers Athletics. Amy Scribbins, DDS, Nothing But Cakes, Rita's Italian Ice, Store Coachway, Lincoln Center, Chicken Ranch Casino, Bank of Stockton, Chase Chevrolet, Pepsi, Max Muscle, Round Table Pizza, Gym Stars, InShape, United Way, Fred Penny and Associates, Neater, and the Valley Pacific Petroleum. Thank you once again for your generous sponsor and support of Tiger Athletics. First up for the Jackrabbits, designated hitter number 19, Josh Falk.
Josh Falk steps in for the Jackrabbits to lead off the top of the 4th. They trail at 8-2. Breaking ball misses inside. It'll be Falk, Ira, and Hackman. Dylan Potgeiser on in his 2nd inning of relief. Took over for Grant Stevens, a starter who went 2 innings. That one's hit down the left field line, but it's going to get fouled back out of play. Out in front of it. Count now even up at 1-1 on the designated hitter. He's 0 for 1, struck out back in the 2nd inning. Stevens line, 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned. Struck out 3, didn't walk anybody. Checked his swing in time, pitch missed inside. It's now 2-1. Popped up, foul territory. Lee throws his mask off, now drifting back towards the infield in fair territory. Makes the play. It was dangerous. He almost stepped on the bat. He's able to make the play for the first out here in the top of the 4th. Nice play by the junior, Jeremy Lee. Luke Ira now will step in. He's 1 for 1, doubled, scored a run. Pitch from Potgeiser is inside. Lee about 7 off that throw. Back to Potgeiser and all the way to the shortstop. Spectacular day for baseball here in Stockton. Temperature in the low 70s. Sunshine. Count now 2-0. We wrap up the series. That's a noon start. Brady Stover for the Jackrabbits. Senior lefty. That one's hit down the line. Fair ball past the diving Lafortier. Heading towards second is Ira. And he will be standing there with a 1-out double. Now 2 for 2 with a pair of doubles. Derek Hackman, 1 for 1. Over in the 2nd. Runner in scoring position. South Dakota State trying to get one back here in the 4th. Got a long ways to go, trailing 8-2. They got to start somewhere, and the first pitch misses for a ball. It's 1-0. On the mound tomorrow for the Tigers is the junior Hayden Pierce. Once again, that's a noon start out of the stretch. Potgeiser stares the runner down at second, now delivers home. Hackman off balance, way out in front. Count now evened up at 1-1 with 1 gone. South Dakota Dakota State got 2 in the top of the second. Pacific answered with 3 of their own and then added 5 more in the bottom half of the third. Fastball. Looks like it missed perhaps inside. Count now 2-1. The 2-1. Fouled straight back. Count evened up at 2-2. Time called for and granted. Hot guys are having a long look at the runner, Luke Ira. Leading by 6. You think he must be focused on going right after the hitters. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. First strikeout for Pottgeiser. 2 gone now here in the fourth. And I'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Matt Krambeck. Krambeck, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Trying to deliver a 2-out hit. Takes the first pitch for a strike. It's 0-1. Breaking ball's a beauty in there for a called strike, and he's quickly ahead of the count 0-2. See if the sophomore goes right after him. Pottgeiser went to Foothill High School in Pleasanton, out of the East Bay. Fastball upstairs, 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pottgeiser comes set. Low and away, 2-2. South Dakota State roster, there's 31 players on it, and they are from just 4 different states. 14 from Iowa, 8 from South Dakota, and 7 hail from Minnesota, and 2 are Nebraska natives. Slow roller hit down towards short. Hoffman over to first, side retired. South Dakota State threatens, but they come up empty. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 1 runner left aboard. We played 3.5. Tigers leading at 8-2.
Top of 4 for the Jackrabbits. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. Fans, remember to bring back any foul balls to the press box in order to receive a coupon from Nectar in the Lincoln Center.
Bottom of the fourth, Tigers leading at 8-2. Middleton, LaForestier, and Hayes, 3, 4, and 5 in this lineup.
Now batting, number 14, Charles Middleton Jr.
Middleton 2 for 2, a pair of singles, scored a run. Swings at the first pitch, hits it into right center. And that one's going to be off the wall. And he will cruise on into second. Now he's going to try for third. And he will make it standing up. So Charles Middleton continues to tear the cover off the baseball. We'll see if they rule that. They're going to give it a double and an error. Second error of the game for South Dakota State. So Middleton 3 for 3 here. Swinging at the first pitch, LaForestier hits it into left field. That should be deep enough to score. Middleton, who tags up. Throw is cut off, and it is now 9-2. Sacrifice fly for Alex LaForestier. Getting back to Middleton. He's 3 for 3 here this afternoon. He came in 8 for 20, so he's now 11 for 23, hitting just under 500. He is off to an absolutely torrid pace. Carter Hayes, he's officially 0 for 1. He swings at the first pitch, fouls it into the ground. Beg your pardon, we're going to have a pinch hitter now. Laying off that pitch. This is Lucas Sweeney. His first at bat. Takes a strike. Count now evened up. Beg your pardon, it's 1 and 2. Popped up on the infield. And the shortstop handles it for the second out. So I'm going to bring up now the designated hitter, Ben Nemavant. Nemavant came on to pinch run for Skilper, who was injured sliding into second base. Nemavant came home to score. Takes the first pitch for a strike. 2 gone. Tigers leading at 9-2. They've tacked on another run here in the bottom of the fourth. Grounder hit down to first. Beasley will take it himself. The side retired. However, Pacific picks up another run. They do it on 1 hit, no errors, nobody left aboard. We've played 4 complete. 9-2 Tigers.
At the end of 4, Tigers had 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and no one left on base. Pacific fans, be sure to visit the concessions located on the third base side of the stands, to the left side of the front entrance. They have all kinds of snacks, drinks, goodies to enjoy all day long.
Top of the fifth and top of the order for South Dakota State University.
Number 11, Landon Badger.
Landon Badger steps in, 1 for 1 with the double. Dylan Potgeiser on for his third inning of work. 2 runs, 5 hits, a couple of errors for the Jackrabbits. First pitch in there for a strike. And for the Tigers, 9 runs. They've done on just 7 hits. They've also committed a couple of errors. The 0-1. That's hit into left field, and that's going to get down for a leadoff single. Third hit allowed by Potgeiser. Badger now 2 for 2.
Batting shortstop, number 3, Gus Steiger.
That'll bring up the shortstop, the junior Gus Steiger. Officially 0 for 1, a hit by a pitch. Bounced to third. Now one in the dirt outside. Hit down towards short. Could be 2. Over to second for 1. On to first. A double play. The second one the Tigers have turned here this afternoon. This one goes 6-4-3. And quickly 2 gone here in the top half of the 5th.
Batting number 8, right fielder, Ryan McDonald.
Now Ryan McDonald steps into the box. 2 gone. Nobody on. He's 0 for 2. Struck out, grounded out to short. Geyser starts him off with a strike, and it's 0-1. South Dakota State University, located in Brookings, South Dakota. The school was founded back in 1881, and now it's 0-2 on the right fielder. An enrollment of just under 12,000. Started playing baseball back in 1947. Laid off that one. Count now 1-2. Last Division I postseason appearance was in 2013. Made several Division II postseason appearances. And that one got away from Potgeiser as he hits McDonald. And Potgeiser, you could tell, frustrated with himself as he pounds his glove.
Left fielder, number 15, Braden Brown.
Second batter hit by Pacific pitching here today. Steiger, the shortstop, was hit by a pitch back in the first inning. South Dakota State put a couple of runners on in that first, but couldn't capitalize. Brown 1 for 2 here this afternoon. Lays off the breaking ball that misses well outside, 1-0. Jackrabbits last year, 28-22 overall, 19-10 in Summit League play. Quick throw down to first, diving back in safely, though, is McDonald. As mentioned earlier, they don't get a lot of home games because they have to deal with the inclement weather. Their first one isn't until late March. Last year, they played just 9 home games. It's now 3-0 on the cleanup hitter, Brown. See if he's taking all the way. Imagine he would be. They need base runners. Down 7 runs here in the top of the 5th. He is, and it's in there for a strike, 3-1. Beasley waits on deck if Brown can get aboard to extend the inning. that one down towards third. Big hop for LaForestier. Goes the short way for the final out here in the top of the fifth. No runs. There was one hit, no errors, one runner left aboard. Head to the bottom of the fifth, and it's all Pacific.
Top of five. No runs. One hit. No errors. One left on base. Fans, your Pacific Tigers are back in action tomorrow in the series finale. Game time is 12 noon. Mark your calendars for the annual Community Fireworks Show. We have two this year. The first is on Saturday, April 25th, and the second is Saturday, May 16th, presented by Amy Scribbins, DDS.
He's got 15 years of coaching college experience. He's seen 63 of his players go on to play Division I baseball, with 24 of them reaching the professional level. 0-1 to Wyatt Hoffman. Back in the third. Two-out RBI season.
Now batting for the Tigers, second baseman number 27, James Arakawa. Center fielder number 15, James McClanahan.
Rodriguez done a good job of getting the specific roster to buy in. He's their third coach in the last 4 years. Slow roller down towards third. Cranbeck charges, throws, low throw, and it is in time to get McClanahan. Side is retired. Pacific's going to strand a couple of runners. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, 2 runners left aboard. We played 5 complete, and it is all Tigers, 9-2.
No hits, no errors, 2 left on base. Enjoy all the fun and excitement of Pacific Baseball with your very own suite catered by Michael's Pizza. Or enjoy one or more of the special Duraflame Hotspot packages. For more information, visit PacificTigers.com or call the Pacific box office at 209-946-2474. If you're looking for a great place to go after the game, visit Michael's Pizza, conveniently located near campus on Alpine Avenue. Michael's Pizza has been a family-owned and operated since 1978 and are happy to be part of the Stockton and San Joaquin County community.
How's it looking up there?
Oh, I've been at Spanos.
Oh, gotcha.
I've been working at Spanos.
Oh, you guys been setting up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So that's why. I figured out. I thought that's how you're doing.
I'm doing okay.
I don't think you'd be. I just want to make sure you're
Hot little number in a pickup truck. Daddy sweet money done jacked it up. The party all night from South Carolina. A bad mama jammer from down in Alabama. She's a
Batting first baseman, the number 14, Drew Beasley.
We begin the top of the 6th. Dylan Potgeiser will face 5, 6, and 7 in this Jackrabbit lineup. Beasley will lead things off 0 for 2 flat out. They hit into a 5-4-3 double play. First pitch, hit deep into the hole. Long throw for the shortstop, Hoffman, and it's not in time. It wasn't hit particularly hard. Said Hoffman had to go deep into the hole. Couldn't get enough on the throw. So it's a leadoff single for Beasley, his first hit of the game. 6th hit as a team for the Jackrabbits.
Pitching number 23, Garrett Reese.
Second straight inning, South Dakota State's had the leadoff man aboard. Now we're going to have a pinch hitter. It's number 23, Garrett Reese, freshman from Robbins, Iowa. Left-hander takes the first pitch inside for a ball. Reese just making his second appearance of the season. He is officially 0 for 1. He hits for Josh Falk. Can now even up 1-1 on the pinch hitter. previous half inning is now 1-2. A lot of these seniors are playing for their third coach in 4 years here for Pacific, but talking to Coach Rodriguez, he said, the first year they played for Mike New, then a couple years for Ryan Garco, but he goes, especially my seniors, they have bought in what I'm selling. And it's a very, very unique but good clubhouse. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes is the pinch hitter, Reese. One away here in the top of the sixth.
Batting second baseman, number 22, Luke Ira.
Now to bring up now the number 7 hitter in the lineup, Luke Ira. He's had a good afternoon, 2 for 2, a couple of doubles, has scored a run. This is low and away outside. Ira's been one of the few hitters who have gotten off to a good start for the Jackrabbits. He's now 6 for 6 on the season, hitting .375. As a team, they came into this afternoon's game hitting just .171, and now Ira's 3 for 3. Base hit to left field. So a couple of runners aboard with one out. South Dakota State has something cooking here in the top of the sixth.
Pinch hitting, number 6, Wyatt Anderson. Center fielder, number 11, Landon Badger. Fans, remember to bring back any foul balls to the press box in order to receive a coupon to Nectar in the Lincoln Center. Third baseman, number 2, Alex Laforcier.
Lays off the first pitch for a ball. It's 1-0. Laforcier away from first. Inside. 2-0. Pops it up. That one is a mile high on the infield. Steiger, the shortstop, drifting back towards the outfield. Grass has it for out number 2.
Now that designated hitter on base, Ben Nemavon.
That'll bring up the designated hitter, Ben Nemavon. 0 for 1. Throw it to first, diving back in safely, easily is Laforcier. Again, another throw over. He is a threat to run over there. He's 2 for 3 this season. That's in there for a strike. Price waits on deck. McSherry comes set out of the stretch. 0-1 inside, even up at 1-1. Sherry are just trying to chew up innings for head coach Rob Bishop. Came on the second. Inside out swing, fouls it back out of play. One and two gone. Bottom 6. Nemavon awaits the 1-2. Scoot out of the way of that one. Count now even up at 2-2 on the designated hitter. Big hole on that right side if Nemavon can pull one. And now he's worked the count full. So Laforcier will be off with the pitch. payoff for McSherry. That's inside ball 4. He loses him. So Nemavant does a good job. Fell behind in the count. And draws a walk with 2 outs. Now it'll take a 2-out hit from Luke Price. He's officially 0 for 1. He has a sacrifice fly. He was hit by a pitch and he struck out. Second walk allowed by McSherry here in relief. That one didn't bite, and it's 1-0, 2 outs. LaForestier, the runner at second. Nemavant down at first. Pacific got 3 in the second, 5 more in the third, and they tacked on a single run in the fourth. Inside, throw down to first. Nemavant dives back in safely. South Dakota, all their runs coming via the long ball. Second inning, Derek Hackman, a 2-run shot. And then in the top half of this frame, pinch hitter Wyatt Henderson, who, by the way, stayed in to play third base. Pinch hit 3-run homers. Took something off it. Price down to 1 knee on the swing. Count now 1-2. 3 home runs here total. All have been out to left field. The wind was blowing a little bit harder earlier. As I mentioned, the ball carries much better here during the day than at night. 1-2, look outs. Nice had a dance out of the way. And it is now 3-1. Out in front of that one, it's going to be a long strike down the left field line. So he's run it full. He ran it full on Nemavant, who previous batter earned a walk. See what Price can do with the runners going on the pitch. Oh, he might have swung at ball 4, but it gets past the catcher all the way to the wall. There'll be no play at first. And so the inning will be extended. So it'll be a strikeout. They ruled out a pass ball or wild pitch. So McSherry has a rare opportunity to try to get 4 outs in an inning. See if Jeremy Lee can deliver with 2 outs. 1 for 2. He had a big 2-out RBI double back in the third. Also walked, stole a base. He scored a run and he's popped out. Down on the count, 0-1. In there for a strike, and McSherry quickly heading the count, 0-2. LaForestier, the runner, at third. Nemavant is at second. Price, the runner, at first. One and two now, the number 8 hitter in the lineup. Jeremy DeLee deliver a big 2-out hit right here for the Tigers, and after falling behind in the count 0-2, it's now evened it up at 2-2. Pretty good speed on the base pass. Fouled it off, so it remains 2-2. McSherry into the wind, into 2-2. Just outside. So once again, all runners will be off with the pitch. Third straight hitter, he's run the count full. There go the runners, the 3-2. Hit off the end of the bat, slow roller down to Ira at second. On over to first, and the side is retired. Tigers load the bases, can't break through. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 3 runners left aboard. We head to the top of the 7th, 9-5 Pacific.
Just a friendly reminder, Valley Brew will be closing at the end of the 7th inning. For the Tigers, number 17, Joe Solomon.
Top of the 7th inning, and it's a new pitcher for the Tigers. It's number 17, Joe Solomon. The junior hails from San Francisco, went to Lowell High School. Making his first appearance this year.
First off, number 3, Gus Steiger.
He'll face 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup for the Jackrabbits. Steiger's 0 for 2, hit by a pitch. Bounced to third, grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. Joe Solomon, third pitcher of the game for Pacific. He replaces Dylan Potsgeiser. Potgeiser, 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned. Struck out 3, didn't walk anyone. Solomon starts out Steiger with the strike. He'll work out of the stretch. Comes in nursing a 4-run lead. Showing bunt, pops it up. Solomon on the run makes the grab for the first out. And he gets a handshake from his catcher, Jeremy Lee, who approves.
Right fielder number 8, Ryan McDonald.
So 1 gone here in the top of the 7th. That'll bring up the right fielder, Ryan McDonald. He's 0 for 2. He's been hit by a pitch, struck out, and grounded out to short. Solomon, not quite full sidearm. It almost looks like he's coming 3/4. So if you're a right-handed hitter, it almost looks like the pitch is coming from third base. Potgeiser really did a good job in long relief today for Pacific. He did give up the 3-run homer in the 6th inning, but chewed up some innings, threw a lot of pitches. 2-0. Now it's 3-0. He's missed on 3 straight. See if McDonald taking all the way here. And he walked him on 4 straight. So a 1-out walk issued to the number 3 hitter, Ryan McDonald, who's on board for the 2nd time this afternoon. Now to bring up the cleanup hitter, Braden Brown. 1 for 3, had a single back in the 3rd. Just flied out and grounded out. That's a strike. The 0-1 from Solomon. Swing and a miss. He took something off. Quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. Hayes is holding the runner on McDonald over at first base. Hit off the end of the bat, and that's going to be a good old-fashioned Texas leaguer that's going to drop in front of the right fielder Price for a base hit. Well, he didn't hit it hard, but he hit it just enough. First, beg your pardon, second hit of the game for Brown. He's now 2 for 4, the pair of singles. So back-to-back runners reach. Now things starting to get a little interesting as the tying run moves on deck. Beasley's 1 for 3. He singled and scored back in the 6th. It was 9-2 at one point, and then Wyatt Henderson delivered a 3-run pinch hit homer in the 6th. And now threatening again here in the top of the 7th is South Dakota State. Showing bunt, pulls it back, takes a ball, it's 1-0. Joey Centani, the pitching coach for the Tigers, is going to come out and have a word with his pitcher, along with the rest of the infield. Pacific has already turned a pair of double plays. They'd like one right here. Jackrabbits 5 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors. Pacific 9 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors. Meeting adjourned. Back to live action. 1-0 on the starting first baseman, Drew Beasley. Just a sophomore. RBI opportunity awaits. As he waits the 1-0. Breaking ball's in there for a strike. 1-1. That's some good movement on it. Back to the bottom of the 6th when Luke Price reached first after striking out. I wasn't sure if it was a pass ball or a wild pitch. It was officially called a wild pitch. Now 2-1, 1 out. McDonald is the runner at second. Brown the runner at first. Swing and a miss. Count now evened up at 2-2. The 2-2 from Solomon. And it hit Beasley. And now the bases are loaded for Garrett Reese. His 2nd time up. He originally came on as a pinch hitter in the 6th. And that's going to be it for Solomon. He allows just 4 batters. Goes just a 1/3 of an inning, but he's responsible for all the runners aboard. And now Reese is going to represent the tying run. So Pacific was cruising along, and things have suddenly gotten a little tighter. Solomon exits with the bases loaded. As We await the fourth pitcher of the game for the Tigers. And it'll be Nick Swanson. He is the team's closer. They're going to bring him in here in the 7th inning. Try to slam the door on a bases loaded situation. Swanson wears number 22. He is a junior, goes 6'2". He is from right here in Stockton, California. He previously attended Delta College. Taking a look at his numbers, making his 3rd overall appearance. He does not have a one-loss record. He has pitched an inning and a third, given up just 1 hit. He has walked 1, struck out 2. He does not have an ERA. And he comes in with a bases loaded situation. Just to recap the inning, Steiger led off. He popped out to the pitcher. McDonald walked, Brown singled, Beasley hit by a pitch, and Sullivan will face Garrett Reese, the designated hitter, who's 0 for 1. And Swanson taking his warm-up tosses. Tigers looking to even this series up at 1 apiece. South Dakota State won last night, 2-1 in a pitcher's duel. Much different here this afternoon. The two teams have combined for 14 runs on 17 hits. So 1 out, bases loaded for Garrett Reese. And the first pitch, swing and a miss. What a big cut from Reese. McDonald at third, Brown at second, Beasley at first. On the corners, they're even with the bag, up the middle, double play depth. The 0-1, swing and a miss. Boy, Swanson comes out of the pin firing quickly ahead of Reese. 0-2. Let's see if he goes right after him. And he wastes one well outside. See Sullivan in that mound, his foot on the rubber favors toward third base. Front leg completely straight, the back leg bent, the 1-2. Now it's all even up at 2-2, so after quickly getting ahead of him, 0-2, he's missed on 2 straight. The 2-2, foul tipped. That one got a piece of the catcher Lee. Appears to be okay. Bryce Kirk, last night's catcher for Pacific. He got beat up pretty bad behind home plate last night. Nicked up a couple of times. Actually had to leave the game. And once again, the 2-2 from Swanson. Outside. Well, there's nowhere to put him. So Reese has done a good job. He fell behind in the count, 0-2. He's now worked it full. Payoff pitch. High ball 4. A bases loaded walk for Garrett Reese. That's an RBI for him as McDonald comes home to score the 6th run of the game for South Dakota State. And all the other runners move up 90 feet. So Luke Ira now steps in. He's had a big day at the plate, 3 for 3, a couple of doubles, 2 runs scored. He represents the go-ahead run. That one misses inside, gets away from the catcher Lee, but he quickly pounces on it. Swanson came out of the bullpen throwing strikes. All of a sudden now he can't find the plate. That breaking ball's a strike, and the count now even up at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Top of the 7th. Precarious situation right now for the Tigers. They had a comfortable 9-2 lead cruising along. Way outside. Right now, one big hit, South Dakota State could take the lead. Hayes even with the bag at first. LaForestier a few steps behind the third base bag. The 2-1, that's downstairs. Swanson just walked in a run with the previous batter. The 3-1, that's a strike. So he went full with Reese and he walked him. What's he going to do here with Luke Ira? The full count offering misses low and away. Back-to-back bases loaded walks. First RBI of the game for Ira. His 3rd run batted into the season.
Batting, catcher number 9, Derek Hackman.
So now Beasley at 3rd, Reese at 2nd, Ira at 1st. Hackman steps in. He's been feast or famine here. A 2-run homer in the 2nd, and he struck out twice, once swinging, once looking. That one misses, 1-0. The tying run now down at 2nd base. The go-ahead run on at 1st. And now the field umpire wanted to take a look at Swanson's hat. Lee comes out to give his closer some encouragement. He has walked the first 2 batters he has faced. Bases loaded walks. And now interim head coach Chris Rodriguez is going to go out and have a word, try to settle down his closer, Nick Swanson. And he's actually going to take the baseball from him. Two batters he faces. He's responsible for Reese at 2nd, Ira at 1st. And now Joe Stanley comes on.
Now pitching for the Tigers, number 20, Joe Stanley Jr.
Stanley Jr. pitched last night, went 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, struck out 1. Faced just 4 batters. Stanley Jr., the third pitcher of the inning, the fifth overall for head coach Chris Rodriguez. Stanley Jr. making his fourth appearance of the season, all in relief. He's pitched 3 1/3 innings, given up 3 hits, no runs, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. And he does not have an ERA. And he comes in a pressure situation right here. A 7-run lead has been trimmed to just 2. The bases are loaded. There's just 1 out. Derek Hackman steps in. So it's going to go lefty against lefty. Beasley's the runner at third. Reese at second. Ira at first. And the first pitch is a beauty into Hackman for a strike. 0-1. Solomon is responsible for the runner at third. Swanson for the runners at second and first. Fouled straight back. Stanley Jr. now ahead in the count, 1-2. The 1-2. Called strike 3. So the third time Hackman down on strikes, the second time looking, and that is a huge strikeout right there for Stanley Jr. So they should be able to play back on the corners, which they are doing now. Low and inside to Wyatt Henderson, who had a 3-run pinch hit homer in the 6th inning. Zeroed on the first pitch and took it deep to left. Steps in with the bases loaded. The tying run down at second base. The 1-0 in there for a strike, and it's quickly evened up at 1-1. What was once a laugher has turned into a nail biter here in the 7th. And the 1-1. And it's a nice block by Lee, the catcher. 2-1 on the number 9 hitter, Wyatt Henderson. Top of the order, Landon Badger waits on deck. He's had a good afternoon with a couple of hits. The 2-1. Hit down to third, and off the glove of LaForestier. He'll have no play. Another run comes home to score, and the bases remain loaded. And that'll be an error on LaForestier. He tried to backhand it. Looked like it hit off the heel of his glove. Squirmed away far enough where he had no play. So now the tying run, Reese, is at third. There's no RBI on the play. The go-ahead run, Ira, at second. And top of the order, and Landon Badger takes the first pitch for a strike. He's 2 for 3. He had a double, a single, and he flied out. Now 1-1. South Dakota State has scored 3 times here in the 7th after scoring 3 times in the 6th. Swing and a miss. But Badger had a big cut at it. He's looking to make it a 12-9 game with 1 swing. Now he's down in the count, 1-2. You can close the book on Joe Sullivan. Even up at 2-2. He went a third of an inning, gave up 3 runs, walked 1, hit a batter. He's the 9th hitter of the inning is Badger. And he hits one into center field, and he hits it well. McClanahan going back, and just shy of the warning track, able to run it down for the final out. Badger gave it a ride, but it's just a long out. However, South Dakota State, they score 3 more. They do it on just one hit, believe it or not. There was one error. They leave 3 runners aboard. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Time to stretch. Tigers lead it by a run. Did it on just one hit? Bottom of the 7th, it's a new pitcher for the Jackrabbits. Eli Sundquist, freshman out of Minnesota. Right-hander, goes 6'1", making his second appearance. First outing went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 1 hit, no runs, struck out 1. It'll be 9-1-2 in the order for Pacific. Wyatt Hoffman leads it off, 1 for 3. And an RBI single, scored a run back in the 3rd. He's popped out and struck out. Also has a stolen base. Sundquist wheels and deals. Fastball in there for a strike. Well, credit the Jackrabbits. They have not quit here this afternoon. They were down 9-2 heading into the top of the 6th. They scored 3 in the 6th. They added 3 more in the top half of this frame, and it's now just a 1-run game. Fastball over the top. And it's 2-1 on the leadoff hitter for the Tigers here in the bottom of the 7th. Arakawa waits on deck. He'll be followed by McClanahan. The 2-1. High fly ball hit into center field. Badger settles under it, and he's got it for out number 1. Here's his pitching line on Ryan McSherry. 4 1/3, 6 hits, 6 runs. Struck out 3, walked 1, hit 2 batters. Not the prettiest of line, but chewed up a lot of innings, and he allowed South Dakota State to hang around. Big swing by Arakawa. Got a piece of it, foul tipped it into the glove, 0-1. He's officially 1 for 2 today. That missed down low. And an RBI single in the 3rd, walked in the 2nd. It was hit by a pitch in the 5th, and he also grounded out to 2nd. The 1-1 from Sundquist. Another big swing and a miss. Now the freshman righty ahead in the count, 1-2. Hit down towards short. Steiger across the diamond, 2 gone. Had some great experience up the middle to South Dakota State. The catcher, Hackman's a 3-year starter. Steiger down at short, also a 3-year starter. And then the center fielder, Badger, a 4-year starter. Squibbed off the end of the bat into the grassy area, into the right field stands. 0-1 to McClanahan. Good for his first hit this afternoon. He's wearing the 0 for collar, 0 for 4. Big hopper to third, and it's a fair ball. High throw, but in time to get him. 1-2-3 inning. Down goes Pacific in the 7th. Head to the top of the 8th. Tigers lead it by a run.
First out for the Jackrabbits, first out number 3, Gus Steiger.
Start the top of the 8th. Jackrabbits need a run to tie it up. Steiger, McDonald, Brown, 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Joe Stanley Jr. starts him out with a strike. It's 0-1. Steiger officially 0 for 3. He was hit by a pitch, grounded out, hit into a 6-4-3 double play, and then trying to bunt his way on to start the top of the 7th. Popped it up to the pitcher. Stanley Jr., the 5th pitcher of record this afternoon for the Tigers. Big chopper to third. LaForestier on over to first. 1 up, 1 down. So a big out to get the leadoff man out here in the top of the 8th.
Right fielder number 8, Ryan McDonald.
So there's Ryan McDonald. He started it all last inning. Reached on a 1-out walk and eventually came home to score. He's been hit by a pitch, struck out, grounded out. First pitch misses to him for a ball, 1-0. 8 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for the Jackrabbits. The Tigers have 9 runs. They've done it on 8 hits. They have committed 4 errors. Popped up, shallow right field. The second baseman calling for it, and he's got it. Arakawa for the second out of the inning. So quickly 2 gone here in the top of the 8th.
The fielder number 15, Raiden Brown.
So Stanley Jr. has come on and done a great job. If it wasn't for the error on LaForestier, no one will have reached against him. Struck out Hackman, then Crambeck, bigger part, Henderson reached on the error. And they got Badger to fly out, Steiger to ground out, McDonald to pop out. Oh, he has been outstanding out of the pen. Trying to retire the side in order. The 1-0, now 2-0. Browns 2 for 4, a couple of singles, scored a run, fly to right, rounded to third. That's in there for a strike. 4 errors for Pacific. They've now committed 11 through their first 6 games. Line drive, base hit, center field. The tying run is aboard with 2 outs. Brown had his 3rd hit of the game, all 3 singles. So he represents the tying run. And Drew Beasley, who now steps into the batter's box, represents the go-ahead run. 1 for 3, single, hit by a pitch, scored a couple of runs. He's hit into a double play and flied out. First pitch in the dirt. Lee does a nice job of blocking it, keeping it in front of him. That's hit down the left field line. That's going to be a fair ball. Let's see if they hold Brown at third. They do. And Beasley cruises on into second with a 2-out double. So now the tying run 90 feet away. The go-ahead runs down at second base. And all this coming with 2 outs.
Designated hitter number 23, Garrett Reese.
And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Garrett Reese. He came on in the 6th, pinch hit, struck out. In the 7th, he had a bases-loaded walk for an RBI. And now an opportunity to tie it, or perhaps give South Dakota State the lead. They appeal, and he did go around, so it's 0-1. Stanley Jr. got the first 2 hitters rather easily. And then a couple of 2-out base hits by Brown. And Beasley with the double. Lays off of it. The count now evened up at 1-1. This was once a 9-2 game. And now the tying run just 90 feet away. Low and away, and once again a nice job of blocking it is Lee. The count now 2-1 with 2 gone. Grant Stevens got the start, but that seemed like a lifetime ago for Pacific. The 2-1, it is now 3-1. Now first base is empty. Pott, Geyser, Sullivan, Swanson, and now Stanley Jr. The 3-1. That's in there for a strike, and the count now full. So here comes the payoff pitch. Reese chokes up. He struck him out. He thought it was ball 4, but he's called out on strikes. Stanley Jr. does his job as his teammates come out to greet him as he walks off the mound. No runs, couple of hits, no errors, 2 runners left aboard. See if the Tigers could get some insurance in the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th, Middleton, LaForestier, and Hayes. Tigers' bats have gone a little quiet the last 3 innings. Scored 3 times in the second, 5 more in the third. Tacked on another in the fourth. But it's been zeros up on the scoreboard since then. Middleton 3 for 4. Double, couple of singles, 2 runs scored. Eli Sundquist on for his second inning of work. That's a strike to even up the count at 1-1. In the 9th for South Dakota State, it'll be 7, 8, 9 in the order, the bottom third. Inside, that's Luke Ira, Derek Hackman, and Wyatt Henderson. But the bottom of that lineup has done some damage. Couple of home runs, 5 runs driven in. The 2-1 had a good rip at it, fouled it straight back. Count now even up at 2-2 on the Tiger left fielder. Middleton from Lincoln, California. Arrived here via Sierra College. Full count offering on the leadoff hitter for the Tigers here in the bottom of the 8th. They would certainly like to add on a run or two for insurance. And a good start here to the bottom of the 8th, a leadoff walk. The 4th time Middleton's been aboard here this afternoon.
Third baseman number 2, Alex LaForestier.
That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Alex LaForestier. 1 for 1, officially. He has singled, walked twice, a sacrifice fly, scored a couple of runs, takes the first pitch for a strike. And it's 0-1. And after that pitch, Rob Bishop is going to exit the dugout and have a trip to the mound, and he's going to meet with his entire infield. South Dakota State, they scored 2 in the 2nd and 3 more in the 6th, and then they added another 3 more in the 7th. Pacific got 3 in the 2nd, 5 in the 3rd, 1 more in the 4th, and that is where we stand, 9-8. The line score looks like this. Jackrabbits 8 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors. For the Tigers, 9 runs on 8 hits. They have committed 4 errors. Meeting at the mound is over. No activity in that Jackrabbit bullpen. Oh and 1 on the Tigers cleanup man. The 0-1 from Sundquist. Now it's 0-2. Middleton, the runner at first. Throw over, diving back in easily. Pacific has left 8 runners aboard here today after leaving 10 last night. Runner bluffs. LaForestier just got a piece of it to keep the at-bat alive. Game nearing the 3-hour mark. Tomorrow is a noon start. Brady Stover for the Jackrabbits. Hayden Pierce for the Tigers. The 0-2 outside. Once again, Middleton bluffed as if he was going to take off for second. Carter Hayes waits on deck. The 1-2. Pop foul out of play. Throw over to first, kind of a lollipop throw from Sundquist. Middleton dove back in anyways. And the 1-2. Inside, it gets away from Hackman. Middleton thought about it. Decided to remain at first base. Count now even up at 2-2. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. Forestier going to reset the batting gloves. Right-hander comes set. The 2-2. Bounces in the dirt, so LaForestier's done a good job of running the count full. Middleton away from first. Runner doesn't go. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks to begin the bottom of the 8th.
First baseman, number 11, Carter Hayes.
So I'll bring up Carter Hayes. The senior has walked, reached on an error, and popped it short a couple of times. But he steps in with runners at first and second. Nobody out there, in at the corners, halfway up the middle. First baseman, Beasley, he's about halfway down the line now. Sundquist bluffs a throw back to second. Scampering back is Middleton. Perhaps to see if Hayes might tip his hand and start to show bunt. Once again, Beasley charging down that first baseline. Hayes. He showed bunt. Did he pull it back and was hit by the pitch? Apparently so. So now the bases are loaded with nobody out. Now head coach Rob Bishop from South Dakota State wants to have a word with the home plate umpire. They're going to peel down to first to see if indeed Hayes pulled the bat back. He did. So now the bases are loaded, courtesy of 2 walks and a hit batsman. It is the 3rd batter hit by Jack Rabbit pitching here today. So Nemavant, the designated hitter, steps in. 0 for 1, he has walked. Grounded to first. Bases are loaded. This is upstairs for a ball, 1-0. Now Beasley at first is about a step inside the bag, as is Graham Beck, the 3rd baseman. They're about halfway up the middle. 2-0. Well, and if I'm Pacific, I'm going to make Sundquist throw me a strike, because right now the plate's dancing around on him. He walked the first 2 batters, and then he hit Hayes, who was trying to bunt the runners over. Working out of the windup, the 2-0. Hit down to short. They're going to turn 2 and give up the run. When that ball was hit hard enough, I wonder if the shortstop Steiger could have come home with it and forced out Middleton at the plate. Instead, he decides to turn the double play. 6-4-3. There's no RBI on the play. But more importantly, Pacific picks up a huge insurance run. Now LaForestier, the runner at 3rd with 2 gone. Luke Price steps in, looking for his first hit. Does have a sacrifice fly. He's also been hit by a pitch, struck out a couple of times. The 1-0. Now it's 1-1. Breaking ball in there for a strike, 1-2, so he's quickly ahead of the right fielder. And here's the 1-2. Past the diving third baseman, on into left field, and another insurance run tacked on for the Tigers. A 2-out RBI single by Luke Price. And for Price, that's RBI number 4 on the season. And it's back to a 3-run cushion for Pacific. Price dives back in safely. That's just the first hit of the inning for the Tigers. Lee takes high. 1-0. Lee's 1 for 3. RBI double scored. He's also walked. Runner goes. Pitch is taken high. Throw down is not in time. It's a stolen base for Luke Price. That's his first of the season. Second one of the game for the Tigers. That now gives him 5 on the year. Lee takes a strike and is now 2-1. Third time this season. In the first 6 games, the Tigers have been in double figures in runs. The 2-1. Now it's 3-1. His season high is 14. That was in the 4th game of the series against Cal Baptist University. And the 3-1 to Lee. Little flare hit into left field. Coming on is Brown, and he's got it for the final out. But not before the Tigers pick up a couple of huge insurance runs. They do it on just 1 hit. There were no errors, 1 runner left aboard. We head to the top of the 9th. Tigers leading by 3.
No errors and 1 left on base.
will try to close the door on South Dakota State. Glover appeared in yesterday's game, making his third appearance overall. 2 innings pitched, hasn't given up a hit or a run. He has struck out 2, and he has walked just 1. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 in the order for the Jackrabbits. And the first pitch from the converted outfielder. This is for a ball, 1-0. Ira has been on base all 4 times today. He is 3 for 3, a couple of doubles, a single. He's walked. He has an RBI and scored a couple of runs. And it's 2-0 to the leadoff man here in the top of the 9th. Pacific trying to improve to 4-2 on the young season. And take the second game of this series after dropping last night's opener. Right-hander comes set. Pop straight back at foul out of play, and it's now 2-1. Derek Hackman waits on deck. Boy, how big were those 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th for the Tigers. A little room to breathe here in the top of the 9th. Swing and a miss. After falling behind 2-0, the count now even up at 2-2. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Ira retired for the first time here this afternoon, and it's a big one. Get the leadoff man here in the top of the 9th. Hackman's had an interesting game. A 2-run opposite field homer in the second, and he struck out the last 3 times, including the last 2 times looking. Steps in, 1 gone, nobody on. South Dakota State down to their final 2 outs. The 1-0. Count even up at 1-1. Fouled out of play. And now Glover ahead in the count 1-2. Glover spent his first 3 years here playing the outfield, and now he's making the switch to the mound. Talking to interim head coach Chris Rodriguez, he said, Glover's future is on the mound. That one just missed, and now the count evened up at 2-2. And he's looked good here early for the Tigers. A liner just over the outstretched arms of Arakawa. And a 1-out single. Hackman, second hit of the game. First hit allowed this season by Glover. Now the pinch runner, Colton Cox.
Number 6, Wyatt Anderson.
And now Wyatt Henderson steps in. He's 1 for 2. Pinch hit 3-run homer in the 6th. Reached on an error in the 7th. Takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. They will hold the runner on over at first base. The tying run is still on deck. Throw down to first, and a nice job by Hayes diving in front of it. count now 0-2 on Henderson. Hayes did a nice job coming off the bag just to block that throw, preventing it to go into right field. And now the 0-2 in the dirt. That's a nice block by Lee. Glover comes set, the 1-2. That one also in the dirt. So now the count now even up at 2-2. Just missed off the plate. About 500 other umpires thought it was strike three, but it's a full count now on the number 9 hitter, Wyatt Henderson. Payoff pitch is outside, and just like that, the tying run will now come to the plate.
Center fielder, number 11, Landon Badger.
And top of the order, Landon Badger, who's 2 for 4. He's doubled and singled. Also flying to right twice, but he now represents the tying run. So once again, how large were those 2 runs in the bottom half of the 8th for Pacific? They'll play behind the runner now at first. First pitch is taken for a ball high, 1-0. Glover got the leadoff man, Luke Ira, to strike out. But then gave up a single to Hackman. He walked Henderson. Now it's 1-0 on Badger. Wind has really picked up, blowing out to left. Ground ball, right side, base hit. They're going to wave the runner. The throw goes into third as Cox scores, and it's now a 2-run game. It's an RBI single for Landon Badger. His 3rd hit of the game, his first RBI.
Number 3, Gus Steiger.
What a game for Badger. He came in looking for his first hit. He was 0 for 9 to begin the season. That's his 2nd run batted in this year. So now the tying run is at first base. The go-ahead run steps in to the plate. Got Steiger rips at the first pitch. Anybody going to get it? No, this could tie it up. It hops off the wall. 1 run is in. They're going to wave Badger. He scores, and it's a 2-run triple for Gus Steiger, and we are all tied up at 11. Oh, my goodness. And now the go-ahead run just 90 feet away.
Number 8, Ryan McDonald.
Well, how about Gus Steiger, the junior, delivering a huge 2-run triple? RBIs 4 and 5 for him. Beg your pardon, 2 and 3 for him on the season. Interim head coach Chris Rodriguez. That is going to be it for Keaton Glover, who could not hold a 3-run lead here in the top of the 9th. He manages to get just 1 out. And now the 7th pitcher of the afternoon coming in for Pacific. At one time holding a 9-2 lead. But the bullpen just has not been able to hold it. Hendrik Reinertsen. Reinertsen appeared yesterday. The junior, he went an inning, allowed 1 hit, no runs, walked 1. Beg your pardon, struck out 1, did not walk anybody. Comes in a very precarious situation, trying to keep it an 11-11 game. The go-ahead run, 90 feet away, and less than 2 outs. Reinertsen making his 4th appearance, 3 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 9 hits, 6 runs, 4 earned. He has struck out 2, walked 1. ERA of 9.82. And it will be up to him to keep this game all even. Well, it started out well for the Tigers here in the top of the 9th. Luke Ira struck out. Derek Hackman, a 1-out single. He was replaced by Colton Cox, the pinch runner. Wyatt Henderson walked. Landon Badger delivered an RBI single. Then Gus Steiger, the junior, a 2-run triple. And that is where we stand, all tied up at 11. And South Dakota State has scored 3 runs here in the top of the 9th. And a brand new ball game at 11. 11 runs, 14 hits, 2 errors for the Jackrabbits. And for Pacific, 11 runs, 9 hits, and they have committed 4 errors. Pacific is going to play the infield in, trying to cut off the go-ahead run. And he will face Ryan McDonald, and all he wants to do is get one into the air deep enough to get that run home. He's 0 for 3. He has reached twice, a walk, and he was hit by a pitch. He's also scored a run. Steiger, the runner, at third. Reinertsen will work out of the stretch. First pitch misses for a ball. It's 1-0. And the 1-0. That's in there for